In the health office on the second floor of Roosevelt High School, Nurse Lisa Angel Washington was conducting her routine 2:45 p.m. medication inventory. As a 15-year school nurse, she knew the fire alarm wasn't supposed to sound at any time other than scheduled drills. But at exactly 2:47 p.m., the alarm system activated. This wasn't drill time. When Lisa looked out the window at Roosevelt High's expansive parking area, she saw a stomach-churning sight. 3 unmarked white vans had surrounded the school. Men emerging from the vans wore black clothing and moved in coordination. Professional. Military trained. Lisa's heart raced. This wasn't a normal fire evacuation. As students exited the main building, Lisa focused her sharp eyes on the crowd. She was looking for Emma Chen, 16-year-old daughter of Principal David Chen, honor student, one of the children Lisa especially protected. She saw her. Emma was heading toward the east exit with other students into the courtyard. Lisa had relaxed, until she saw 2 masked men separate Emma from the crowd and forcibly drag her toward a van. No. Lisa gasped internally. At that moment, a switch flipped in her mind. Voices from 20 years ago returned. Petty Officer Washington, hostage extraction complete. Angel, target secured, civilians safe. Lima team, all hostiles neutralized. School nurse Lisa Washington disappeared. In her place returned Navy SEAL Petty Officer First Class Lisa Angel Washington, 3 tours in Iraq, 2 tours in Afghanistan, 23 successful hostage rescue operations completed, never lost a civilian, the legendary operator. And Roosevelt High School was about to become her new battlefield. Smash that subscribe button if you're obsessed with badass school nurses, Navy SEAL legends protecting students, and kidnappers who picked the wrong school. Was Lisa just a gentle nurse or the Navy's deadliest hostage rescue specialist? Why did they target the principal's daughter, and how will school hallways become a tactical battlefield? Drop your wildest theories below and destroy that like button. Every like tells us you want more insane stories about hidden military heroes protecting our kids. The change was instantaneous and absolute. Lisa Washington, the gentle school nurse who bandaged scraped knees and checked temperatures, ceased to exist. In her place stood Petty Officer Washington, the Navy SEAL who had extracted hostages from terrorist compounds in Fallujah and rescued diplomats from Taliban strongholds in Kabul. Her first action was tactical assessment. From her second-floor vantage point, Lisa counted personnel, 6 men visible, 3 vehicles, coordinated movement patterns suggesting military or paramilitary training. Professional kidnapping operation, not random violence. Her second action was communication. Lisa grabbed the secure emergency phone that connected directly to the district's crisis management center. This is Nurse Washington at Roosevelt High. We have a code black situation. Armed personnel have taken a student. I repeat, code black, student abduction in progress. The operator's voice was tense. Mrs. Washington, SWAT is en route. Estimated arrival 15 minutes. Can you confirm student identity? Emma Chen, Principal Chen's daughter. 16 years old, black hair, blue Roosevelt sweater. Understood. Please shelter in place until. Lisa hung up. 15 minutes was a lifetime in hostage situations. By the time SWAT arrived, Emma could be miles away or worse. Lisa opened her medical supply cabinet, but she wasn't looking for bandages. Hidden behind the legitimate medical equipment were items that would surprise anyone who thought they knew the gentle school nurse. Emergency radio on SEAL frequencies. Tactical first aid kit designed for combat injuries. And most importantly, a secure satellite phone that connected directly to her former commanding officer at SEAL Team 5. She dialed a number she hadn't called in 7 years. Coronado Base, this is Angel. I need immediate tactical support. The voice that answered was gruff, familiar, and surprised. Angel? Lisa Washington. You've been civilian for years. Emergency override, Commander Torres. Hostage situation involving a minor. I'm going operational. A pause. What's your situation? School environment, 6 hostiles, 1 hostage, civilian evacuation in progress. I need intel and backup. Intel team is spinning up. What's your assessment? Lisa looked out the window as the evacuation continued. Students and teachers were being herded toward the gymnasium by men who were trying to look like emergency responders but moved like military operators. Professional operation. They're not just taking Emma, they're controlling the entire school population. This is bigger than a simple kidnapping. Understood. Angel, you're authorized for protective action. Backup is inbound. Lisa felt the familiar calm that came with mission authorization. For 15 years, she'd been Nurse Washington. Today, she was Angel again. Lisa's first tactical decision was to secure the medical office. Roosevelt High's health center was strategically positioned on the second floor with clear sight lines to multiple building exits and access to the school's communication systems. She activated the emergency lockdown protocols from her computer, sealing specific hallways and creating defensive positions throughout the building. To anyone monitoring the system, it would look like standard crisis procedures. In reality, Lisa was turning Roosevelt High into a tactical environment that favored defenders. Her emergency radio crackled, "Angel, this is Overwatch. We have satellite imagery of your location. 6 hostiles confirmed, but heat signatures suggest additional personnel in the vehicles. Copy, Overwatch. What's the status on the primary target? Emma Chen is being held in the east parking lot, Vehicle 2. She appears unharmed but secured." Lisa felt a surge of protective rage. Emma was a good kid, honor roll student, volunteer tutor, dreams of becoming a doctor. She didn't deserve to be terrorized by armed criminals. Overwatch, I need tactical options for hostage extraction without endangering the civilian population. Angel, this is command. We're reading approximately 400 students and staff in the building. Any aggressive action risks civilian casualties. Lisa understood the math. In military operations, sometimes one life was sacrificed to save many. But these weren't enemy combatants, they were children she'd cared for, teachers she'd worked alongside, a community she'd protected for 15 years. Command, I'm not sacrificing Emma Chen. Give me extraction options. Angel, you're one operator against 6 hostiles in a civilian environment. This exceeds safe operational parameters. Lisa smiled grimly. Command, you're forgetting who you're talking to. I didn't earn the call sign Angel because I played it safe. She grabbed her tactical medical kit and headed for the door. Roosevelt High was about to learn why Navy SEALs were considered the most elite warriors in the world. Lisa's knowledge of Roosevelt High's layout was encyclopedic. 15 years of responding to medical emergencies throughout the building had given her an intimate understanding of every room, corridor, and maintenance access that would now serve as tactical advantages. She moved through the second-floor hallways with the silent precision that had made her legendary among SEAL teams. Her destination was the East Wing, where she could get a better visual on Emma's situation. Through classroom windows, she could see the controlled chaos of the evacuation. Teachers were following emergency protocols, moving students toward designated safe areas. But Lisa noticed something that civilian eyes would miss. The emergency responders, directing traffic, were positioning students and staff in ways that maximized control rather than safety. Her tactical radio whispered, Angel, command. We've identified the hostiles. Private military contractors, former Eastern European Special Forces. This isn't random, they're professionals. Motivation? Still analyzing, but Principal Chen was scheduled to testify before a federal grand jury next week. Something about district contract irregularities. Lisa felt pieces clicking into place. Principal Chen had been investigating corruption in the school district's construction contracts. He discovered that safety inspections were being falsified, that buildings were being approved with substandard materials that endangered students. Emma wasn't just a random kidnapping victim. She was leveraged to silence her father. Command, these aren't just kidnappers. They're silencing a witness. Confirmed. Angel, this operation has federal implications. FBI is coordinating response. Lisa reached the east wing and positioned herself at a window with clear sight lines to the parking lot. Emma was visible in the second van, hands secured but alert. 2 guards maintained perimeter security while 4 others continued managing the civilian population. Professional. Disciplined. But they'd made one critical error. They'd chosen to operate at a school where the nurse was a former Navy SEAL. Lisa's first action was psychological warfare. Using the school's public address system, she made an announcement that sounded like routine crisis management but carried tactical intelligence. Attention students and staff. This is Nurse Washington. Due to the emergency situation, please remain in your designated areas. Medical personnel are standing by to assist anyone who needs help. Remember, help can come from unexpected sources. To civilian ears, it was standard emergency guidance. But Emma Chen, who had been treated by Nurse Washington multiple times over the years, would understand the deeper message: help was coming. Lisa's second action was reconnaissance. Using maintenance corridors that connected the school's 2 main buildings, she moved toward the east exit where the hostiles had established their command position. Through a service window, she could observe their operation. 6 men, all wearing tactical gear beneath civilian clothing. Communication equipment suggesting coordination with outside elements. And most importantly, discipline that indicated professional training but also rigid adherence to planned procedures. Rigid procedures were vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Lisa activated her emergency radio. Command, I need a distraction. Something that looks like federal response but gives me tactical advantage. What do you have in mind? Create the appearance of SWAT deployment from the west side. Draw their attention and resources. I'll extract the hostage during the diversion. Angel, that's a 1-operator rescue against professional hostiles. The risk parameters. Command, I've extracted hostages from worse situations. Trust me. Lisa was already moving, her medical training and SEAL expertise combining into something that Roosevelt High had never seen before. She grabbed specific items from the school's emergency medical supplies: portable defibrillator, oxygen tanks, emergency medications, and trauma care equipment. To anyone watching, she was a nurse preparing for medical emergencies. In reality, she was arming herself with tools that could serve double duty as tactical equipment. The diversion came at exactly 3:27 p.m. Multiple police vehicles approached Roosevelt High from the west, sirens wailing, emergency lights flashing. To the hostiles, it looked like the beginning of a federal response operation. All 6 men shifted their attention and resources toward the apparent threat, exactly as Lisa had predicted. While they repositioned to address the police presence, Lisa moved through the maintenance corridors toward the east parking lot. Her destination was the van holding Emma, but her route took her behind the hostiles' established perimeter. She emerged from a service exit 50 meters from the target vehicle. 2 guards remained with Emma while 4 others had moved to coordinate with the Western response. Lisa's approach was textbook SEAL infiltration. She used parked vehicles for concealment, moved during moments when the guards' attention was diverted, and positioned herself where medical equipment could serve tactical purposes. The portable defibrillator became a 2,000-volt incapacitation device. The oxygen tank became a pressurized projectile. The emergency medications included sedatives that could neutralize threats without permanent harm. Her first target was the guard positioned on the van's passenger side. Lisa approached from his blind spot, using a pressure point technique that rendered him unconscious without sound or struggle. The second guard noticed his partner's absence and began to investigate. Lisa was ready. What followed was a textbook hostage extraction executed with medical precision. The guard was neutralized using techniques that left him alive but incapacitated. The van's door was opened using lockpick skills learned during SEAL urban warfare training. Emma looked up to see Nurse Washington's familiar face, but her eyes held a hardness that Emma had never seen before. "Mrs. Washington. What's happening?" "Emma, I'm getting you out of here. Stay close and do exactly what I say." Are you really a nurse?" Lisa looked at the girl she was sworn to protect, at the school she'd served for 15 years, at the situation that had forced her to reveal skills she'd hoped never to use again. "I'm whatever you need me to be." With Emma secured, Lisa faced the challenge of evacuating a civilian through hostile territory back to safety. But Emma Chen wasn't just any civilian, she was a smart, brave teenager who understood that her survival depended on following instructions. "Emma, I need you to trust me completely. We're going to move through the school to a safe location, but it's going to require you to be braver than you've ever been." Emma nodded, her fear transforming into determination. "Mrs. Washington, my dad always said you were special. I'm starting to understand why." Lisa led Emma through a route that utilized every advantage of Roosevelt High's architecture. Maintenance corridors, service elevators, and emergency exits that she'd memorized during 15 years of medical responses became an escape network. But the remaining hostiles had discovered their missing team members and were actively searching for the escaped hostage. Lisa's tactical radio crackled, "Angel, command. Hostiles are repositioning for search pattern. Heat signatures suggest they're moving toward your location. Copy, command. Initiating evasion protocol." What followed was urban warfare conducted in the hallways of an American high school. Lisa used her knowledge of every classroom, every storage room, every architectural feature to stay ahead of pursuers while protecting Emma. They moved through the chemistry lab, where Lisa used her medical knowledge to create smoke screens from legitimate laboratory chemicals. They navigated through the gymnasium, where Lisa's understanding of sight lines and acoustics allowed them to avoid detection. Most importantly, they reached the school's main office, where Lisa could access communication systems and coordinate with the federal response that was now surrounding Roosevelt High. Chapter 7, The Revelation. Principal David Chen was in the main office when Lisa and Emma arrived. His relief at seeing his daughter safe was immediately followed by confusion at seeing his school nurse demonstrating tactical capabilities that suggested military training. "Lisa, what's happening here?" Lisa was monitoring multiple communication channels while securing the office perimeter. "Mr. Chen, your daughter is safe. But we need to talk about why she was targeted. I don't understand." Emma looked between her father and the woman she'd known as the school nurse, beginning to piece together the larger picture. "Dad, Mrs. Washington isn't just a nurse. She's something else." Lisa made a decision that would change how Roosevelt High saw her forever. "Mr. Chen, I'm a former Navy SEAL. I've been working as a school nurse for 15 years, but my background is in special operations and hostage rescue." Principal Chen's face went through several emotions: shock, understanding, and finally, profound gratitude. "The grand jury testimony," he said quietly. "They took Emma to stop me from testifying about the construction contracts." "Yes. And they chose the wrong school to operate from." Lisa's radio crackled with updates: "Angel, command. Federal agents have secured the perimeter. All hostiles are in custody. The school is secure." Emma looked at the woman who had just saved her life, who had transformed from gentle nurse to tactical operator to protect her. "Mrs. Washington, were you always? Have you always been able to do this?" Lisa considered the question. For 15 years, she'd been Nurse Washington, caring for students, treating injuries, providing comfort during crises. But today, when it mattered most, she'd been Angel again. "Emma, I've always been whatever this school needed me to be. Today, it needed me to be someone who could bring you home safe." Chapter 8, The New Understanding. 3 weeks later, Roosevelt High had returned to its normal routine, but everyone understood that something fundamental had changed. The gentle school nurse was still Nurse Washington, still caring for students and managing medical needs. But now there was a legend attached to her name. Students whispered stories about how Mrs. Washington had single-handedly rescued Emma Chen from professional kidnappers. Teachers shared rumors about military background and special forces training. Lisa neither confirmed nor denied the stories. She simply continued her work, treating scraped knees and checking temperatures, administering medications, and providing comfort during teenage crises. But there were changes that observant people noticed. The medical office now had communication equipment that seemed more sophisticated than necessary. Nurse Washington moved through the school with an awareness that suggested tactical training. And when parents asked about their children's safety, Lisa's reassurances carried a weight that went beyond normal nursing confidence. Principal Chen had testified before the federal grand jury, and his testimony had led to indictments of several district officials for contract fraud and safety violations. Emma had returned to her honor roll studies and college preparation. And Lisa Washington had learned something important about the relationship between her past and present. "Nurse Washington," Emma said during a routine checkup, "can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you miss it?" "The military, I mean." Lisa considered the question while checking Emma's blood pressure. "Emma, I learned something important during my military service. The mission isn't about where you serve or what title you carry. The mission is about protecting people who need protection. And you're still doing that. Every day. Just with different tools." Emma smiled. "I'm glad you're here. All of you, the nurse and the other person." Lisa returned the smile. "They're the same person, Emma. I'm just someone who believes that caring for people sometimes requires different kinds of courage." Epilogue: The Guardian Angel. 6 months later, Lisa Washington received a letter from the Secretary of the Navy. It was a commendation for her actions during the Roosevelt High incident, acknowledging her service beyond the call of duty in protecting civilian lives. The letter was classified, of course. Officially, the kidnapping had been resolved by federal law enforcement with no mention of civilian involvement. But Lisa kept the letter in her medical office, next to the photos of Roosevelt High students she'd cared for over the years. It served as a reminder that service comes in many forms, and heroes wear many uniforms. Some wear military fatigues and carry weapons into combat zones. Some wear medical scrubs and carry stethoscopes into school hallways. The best ones understand that both uniforms serve the same mission, protecting the innocent. Lisa Washington had found her perfect assignment, a place where her medical training and tactical expertise could serve the same purpose. Where healing and protecting weren't separate missions, but different aspects of the same calling. Roosevelt High School had its guardian angel. The students didn't need to understand exactly who she was or what she'd done before. They just needed to know that Nurse Washington would always be there when they needed her. Whether they needed someone to bandage a scraped knee or rescue them from armed kidnappers, Lisa Washington was ready. Because the greatest warriors are often those who choose to heal instead of harm, but who never lose the ability to fight when fighting is what protection requires. At Roosevelt High School, that warrior wore a nurse's uniform and carried a stethoscope. But she also carried the skills, the training, and the determination to ensure that every student under her care went home safe every day. Some angels have wings. Some have halos. Nurse Lisa Angel Washington had 15 years of medical experience and 20 years of special operations training. And that combination made her exactly the kind of angel that Roosevelt High School needed. The students called her Nurse Washington. The faculty called her a dedicated professional. The federal agents called her a hero. But Lisa called herself what she'd always been, someone who took care of people who needed taking care of, whatever tools and skills that mission required. And at Roosevelt High School, that mission was exactly where it belonged, in the hands of someone who understood that the greatest honor isn't the battles you win, but the lives you save.